And action.
Action. It is recording officially. I'm so excited. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'm so excited. Social media is something that I fell in love with. I'm very passionate about, and I'm so grateful to have brought these three speakers that also share that same passion to you. It's important for us to learn it. We're in a technological age, but especially under these circumstances, we need to find ways to connect to people from the safety of our own homes, and to the safety of their homes. And this is the best way that I found. And I think it's also fun and exciting. I know it's learning. It's a lot of information. We've had three so far. Give me a wave or a hand raise or emoji if you've been to any of the other of the three, any of the other ones. Okay, most of you. Wow. So this is a very popular event. We have been having a lot of people coming, and it seems like people stick around because there's a lot of information. I see some thumbs up and clapping and cheers, and that's awesome. And a heart, I love it. I love all the energy you guys have brought tonight, and I hope you're ready to learn a little something. I do want to thank the people that helped make this happen. We have some of those individuals from our PR, public relations team here tonight. Just want to give them a round of applause because it does take a village, especially with the PR. So let's give them a big round of applause. The real William, he's here in the house. William, would you give everybody a wave so they know which box you're in? There he is. And I think we might also have somebody else. I don't know if Jude's in the house, maybe not. But there you go. Jude has a thumbs up if you can see that. That's Jude. And there's some others as well who aren't with us tonight, but they definitely did help a lot. Shauna and Roman and Julio. If any of you are in the house, thumbs up, wave, let us know you're here. But we really thank them for helping us get this going tonight. And we're going to have a speaker in just a minute. And then, of course, as per the usual way we've been doing this, there will be time for Q&A. So if you have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. I will monitor that. But there might also be the opportunity for you to unmute and share your question directly. So I'm very excited. And in just a minute, I'm going to introduce our presenter. I apologize for these issues. 1 second. While this is loading, because it's not quite working properly, William, could you unmute and share with everybody the special thing we're doing at Learning Lab for social media?
Sure. So next Sunday, March 7th, we're having, for anyone who's interested in some more social media fun, we're having 2 additional workshops. 11 o'clock will be a follow-on to the workshop that Rose presented a couple weeks ago on Facebook. We'll be doing a Facebook 101. And then at noon, we'll be doing a social media Q&A time. And that'll be for you to come with all of your social media related questions, and we'll address them and answer them to the best of our ability, and hopefully just get you a little more confidence with your social media skills in order to leverage the platforms and tools available to help grow and promote your clubs. So I'll put another link to that in the chat shortly, but that's out there. Please RSVP if you're interested.
Thank you very much, William. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, our incredible speaker, also named William, but different William. I'm very excited to introduce this gentleman. I've known him for about 4 or 5 years now, and he is one of the most intelligent people when it comes to the future and technology. This is not his intro. This is just my personal ad lib because he is an incredible, he's incredibly educated in this arena. So if you want to have, not that I'm trying to put you on the spot, but William Guthrie is one of the top people I have met in Postmasters that understands this technology and this transition that the world is going through. And his background, he has been contracted by numerous companies for his insight into the digital world. He's the founder of Future Tech Digital, a company geared to help the world digitally pivot towards growth and success. Please put your hands together and help me welcome William Guthrie with his speech entitled, Why Put LinkedIn into Your Marketing Funnel and How? Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Serena, fellow Toastmasters. I want to do a little survey, and we can do it just with our hands, and we'll take a poll here in a minute too. But how many people are Toastmasters? Are we 100%? It looks like it. I know Paul is behind his name there. That's great. One of the things that got my passion going with Toastmasters and with Zoom, and then with social media, and then even more so with LinkedIn, is that I think it was 2 years ago, I was the VP of PR, and then I was membership too, because one of the people quit. I forget what happened, but I was doing both, and they're very, very, very closely weaved in. So I started using Facebook, and we talked about that. I think that was the first session, and I was having a lot of luck with that. Like, wow, this is cool. But for Facebook, it was kind of a big, wide blast. And I think we learned some metrics. I didn't go to that particular one, but you learned some metrics and how to do that. And it's kind of a wide blast. Then I think we did Instagram. There's so many of them. Instagram's a little bit narrower and unique, but with LinkedIn, it is like, I hate to use gun term, but like a shotgun is a scattering, and this is like a laser dot to contact the people that you want, and you can laser dot very specific people. So let's talk about that a little bit. But I want to get a feeling for what people think LinkedIn is. And we could blow up the chat a little bit with like, what do you think LinkedIn is, or what is it about? And I can share, like I've heard in the past, people thought, oh, that's just a resume, a digital resume. But what do you guys think it is? And maybe we can pick up on some of the feedback. If you would, drop that into chat. And let's take a look. A way for coworkers, past and present, to keep connected. Okay. Content marketing. All these are great. Business networking. That's kind of where we're going with this. Yep. Awesome. Yep. Those are kind of the standard answers, and that's awesome. So I'm going to launch a poll here, and just take a moment to click on it. Let me make sure I have the right one here. Poll number 1, launching. If you would, just click on these. I mean, just whatever first comes to your mind. On the second one, maybe if you could just pick one, it will help give us a little better data. So do you currently have a LinkedIn account? Oh, no's are popping up a little bit. Hopefully we're going to change your mind on that, but it's not required. And then what's your engagement? And we're getting some, actually, I'll post this in a minute. And just a few more seconds, where almost everyone has replied. In 3, 2, 1. And let's take a look at this. Check it out. Most of you have a LinkedIn account, but you don't use it. And just look at these statistics in general, our group. So let's work on that, because it is such a powerful thing. What else do we have? No, that's pretty much it. A lot of people have accounts, but they rarely use it. Okay, I'll close this. Now, I just wonder if you want to drop into chat, like why you might not use it. And one of the things, even with my own LinkedIn account, I don't keep it up to date. And it seems like such a big thing, because it needs to be, I'm a perfectionist, so it's got to be perfect. So I don't even do it. And maybe that's what you do. Okay. I guess I could, I'm going to share how you use LinkedIn. Then we can come back and fill in some of the details. I'll just tell a story about what happened to me and how life-changing it was. I went to, just like this meeting here, I went to a Zoom meeting with powerful people in the marketing industry. If you know Gary Vaynerchuk or Gary V, raise your hand if you do. He's really, really popular, but some people haven't heard of him. And if you do hear him, he uses a lot of F-bombs, so they're not that into him, but he is a genius in the marketing world. So he does a thing, it's called Marketing for the Now. And I went to one of these, and it's a webinar, so I'm hidden behind the thing, and they just have the thing, in a webinar, you can't see, like we can see your faces on here. I'm behind and you can't see that, but you can ask questions. So there's a couple guys that were really talking on point in terms of marketing. I was like, oh my gosh, I'd never really thought of that before. So on the screen, like Richard, I see over here, while you're at a webinar like this or a meeting, get your LinkedIn open, and let's change that rarely using it to contact that person on LinkedIn. You just type their name in, and since they're on the screen, you can see their picture. If there's other Bill Guthrie's or there's other Bob Smiths, imagine that. And you drop them a little note. So if Serena's talking and she's sharing with something that really touches your heart or touches your whatever they're talking about, like that's genius how you're talking about whatever that is. And then you just type them a note. And instead of being, I remember the old days when you had to write dear blah, blah, blah. And then you go into these full sentences and this long drawn out and sincerely Bill. Now it's different. I sent somebody, I go, I really liked how you commented on, and then I filled in whatever they commented on. I've done so many. And he responded. And it's just, he handles like billion-dollar markets for Revlon and some other major companies. But not only did he respond, he did what I encourage you to do, is go and look at the person's profile and see what they're about. And then anyway, I wrote the note and he responded, and he gave me a referral, which led to another opportunity just like that. And this guy is a multi-million-dollar marketing guy, and that quick, that's how it happened. That's how it can happen. Do they all happen like that? No. Do some of them? Yeah. Can they be huge? Absolutely. That's how we can also do, because I want to bring it back to what do we do for Toastmasters. Part of, I'm going to open up a, this is going to be fun. Hopefully you guys will be able to get your annotation out. And one other thing I wanted to note too, how we do these meetings for Toastmasters, our product is our meeting. And that used to be a nice, fun place we could go to a room, but now it's how we use Zoom or whatever platform you're using. Most of us are using Zoom. So when I've been to a lot of Toastmasters meetings that are great Toastmasters speeches, and we have all the Toastmasters pieces, but the Zoom part of it is kind of weak. So using things like chat, I call them interaction activities that people can do, because after about 5 minutes, people leave. You see them turn their camera off, your mind goes somewhere else. You have your other screen open, you're doing Facebook and things over here, we lose you. So these are like engagement tools that as we go through this, we can help learn some of these, or help display, and you guys can see like, hey, this is kind of cool. The point is to get you back into the meeting. So let's do that with some PowerPoint. And it's going to be another opportunity to engage the screen. And there we go. This one. If you can you see if you can go to the annotation? This is in theory. I think everybody or whoever's up to date can get on here and look at all these social media platforms and just circle the one that you use the most. So for example, I'm going to circle Facebook because I'm on there way too much. Can you circle? Yeah, you can draw a line. Just play with it a little bit, because now we're engaging, and this is actually a meeting tool that you can use for games or interaction like that. But oh, I see some YouTube. And then I'm going to circle LinkedIn because I'm on there a lot too. Some Instagram, Google, Facebook's lighting up. And we're going to have some fun with that. And yeah, look at some of the data on there too. 1.2, this is old data. Actually, any data that you publish and freeze frame the data is usually obsolete like 1 second after you capture it because everything's moving at light speed. So, okay, I'm going to quit sharing that. But was that interesting to engage the screen a little bit? In terms of a Toastmasters meeting, it brings you back in a little bit. It's a chance to engage. That wasn't as exciting as I thought it would be, but I wanted to try it and see how it would work in a large crowd. When there's a smaller group, it's more fun. So let's get back to LinkedIn. One of the other questions I want to ask is, out of all of these, which okay, I should leave that on there. Let me go back to it. Which one do you think, and I'm going to say it's pretty obvious, which one do you think is the most professional out of all these? And this is getting to the point of which social media platform do you choose for whatever you're trying to do? In this case, if we're going to generate membership, you might think, well, that's interesting. Someone circles YouTube, and that's not that interactive. One of the things that we want to do is we want to have an action. So you want to think about your action. What do you want the people to do? Like tonight, you're here. So some marketing took you down a path to a link to a meeting to get you to show up tonight. That was our action or our do.
Oh, they meant LinkedIn, YouTube.
Okay. So we want to have an action. And in meetings, we want to have people come to our meetings. So how do we do that? Now, let me go to our next screen, and I'm going to clear off our screen here. There we go. Okay, did the PowerPoint go away? It should have. I see some heads nodding. Okay. What next? So what do you want people to do as far as going? You want people for Toastmasters, you want them to come to meetings, right? Or at least you want them to call up. One of the things that I did for Valencia Toastmasters is I was doing a lot of marketing and using constant contact and sending out emails, and I was getting a lot of people to call. I actually got 110 people in the 1 year that I was doing that to actually show some interest. They followed my my leads. They came to the Facebook page and interacted with that. They called me, they text me, and all this activity was happening. And I was trying to just get them to a meeting. So with that activity that year, I ended up bringing on over 30 new members, and it was awesome. So what does LinkedIn have to do with that? When you generate activity, whether you're using Facebook or all these other things, the power about LinkedIn is, and since we have so few people using it, if you go to LinkedIn and they're on there, and most of you are, or a lot of people, most people are, you can learn a little bit about them. And I actually did it with Paul Rea. Hey, Paul, he's back there behind the screen. And we were talking, and I looked up Paul, and I noticed that he worked at a company. I jumped the rail a little bit, but it's kind of relevant because it just happened a couple of weeks ago. And when I looked up Paul, I found out that a company that he worked at, I won't share that because that's for him to share. And when I did that, I saw on there, let's talk about first, second, and third degree connections, and that's on the sheet too. A first degree is Paul and I are connected already, and so are Serena and I, and maybe a few others on LinkedIn. So when you're already connected, that's a first degree connection. That's great. You can go in and you have access to the people that they're connected with. That's the second degree. If you're not connected, but they're connected and you can see them, that's the power. So when you're out there, I'm getting a little bit distracted. I shouldn't say that, but I just did. When you're out there looking for members and you have someone who's interested, you can, like Paul, say he came in like, I'm interested in joining Valencia Toastmasters. Okay, so I go on to Paul's website and see where, or I'm sorry, LinkedIn, and see where he works. And now we have a connecting interest. So when you talk to that person, you don't come out of the gate with, hey, Paul, I see you work at, ABC or 123 or whatever it is, because that's a little bit creepy. But you can lead into that, and you know their interests too. You can know their personality profile. If you see they're an engineer, if you see they're a salesperson, if you see, then you can kind of anticipate that a little bit. And what that does, that takes that 100-person number who called in, and we only got 30 of those to show up. Actually, that number would be a lot less if I wasn't doing this LinkedIn thing. You might have only gotten 10 people to convert to a member. So what does all that mean? If you have a way of getting your people to show interest, and then you go to their LinkedIn page and learn one thing about them, you've just doubled your probability of getting them as a member because you have a connection. Or another thing that we do too, because there's certain personalities I'm not, and you learn about this in your leadership styles in Toastmasters. If you don't have a real good connection with that type of person, and I'm not being racist, but it's like the personality styles, like a salesperson like me isn't as likely to get along with someone like an accountant. There's just a little bit of a disconnect there. So we send someone who else. It's like, okay, if Serena's an accountant, Serena, Bob just contacted us and he's interested, but we're not kind of grooving. So I would tell other people like, hey, call up Bob or Sue or whoever it was. And the connection was a lot more efficient. Does that make sense to everyone? So when you start using, because I'm looking at the poll here, like almost everybody has LinkedIn, but almost nobody uses it. If you do this one thing, your conversion rate is going to go up, double, triple, whatever it is. And we had some people come into Valencia recently, and you can do it while you're in the meeting too, because like you guys don't have your camera on, you might be on LinkedIn right now. While you're in the meeting, I'm click, 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 and I'll see someone, oh my gosh, you went to College of the Canyons, or hey, I went to Cal State LA, whatever you connect on. And then they automatically feel more welcome because they're already there with a bunch of fear of public speaking and all that. You break down those walls, and it is absolutely magical. Like if I looked up Curtis's profile and found something out about him, then we would connect, because I didn't do that, but we would have a connection. Like, oh my gosh, it's wonderful. One more story of this is like 2 or 3 weeks ago. We went in, I do sales and go into a bunch of manufacturing companies and try to find the right person to talk to. Me and another guy, because I just started with them, one of my new contracts, and we walk into this production facility, big aerospace place. And I had already looked up on LinkedIn the owner, and the owner's a little bit above where I need to be talking to. But here's the other magic trick too, and this is how you can also get members, is the owner, their contacts who you already know or have a connection to at second degree, you're going to be able to see who they are. So I went in there and we started doing the normal thing and finding out. I'm saying the thing too much. I'm grammatically checking myself because I hear it too much. Anyway, we walk in the door and ask for the person, and we get all the walls. Oh, too busy. Don't have time. We don't need that. All of that. And I dropped the name of the owner. And like, oh, you know her? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Here, let's get you in to talk to the person that we needed to. It breaks down walls. It not only breaks down walls, it gives you a connection that you need for whatever you need to do. And in Toastmasters case, it's membership. In any other case, it could be for finding jobs, could be for anything, whatever you need to connect on. So let me go to This one is fun. I'm gonna pop this up in a minute. I presented a similar talk on LinkedIn at an advanced club here in District 52. And this is the power of, and this is about posting on LinkedIn and dropping ads and getting attention. And the key word is attention. Gary Vee talks about that. If you don't know Gary Vee, look him up. He is just fun. He does things on TikTok in a minute. He does things for 2 hours long. You can find your, whatever you like, you can find, he has it. Okay, we're at the meeting and I presented, and the question was, okay, you have to guess which one would be on Facebook and which one would be on LinkedIn, thinking about where would you generate your advertising to be most effective. So I'll show you this. And the point is, it was so, here, let me get this going. The picture on the right, you can see the cats and the manufacturing facility. Get a nod. The cats were so not distracting, but so attractive that, and I was trying to get to the LinkedIn portion, but it was so interesting that everybody just went right to the cats. And that's a good thing to know, because the target market, and it was brilliant too, because the target market that I was talking to didn't want anything to do with LinkedIn, or very little, but the one person who did was an awesome contact, and I made contact with him and we developed some things. Point being, the attention getters, the attention grabbers. In this case, if you're on LinkedIn, you want to do something more LinkedIn-ish, and you're not going to post cats on LinkedIn. The people who posted on Facebook, this is actually, I grabbed someone from that meeting. I grabbed that off of their page, and everybody's like, oh, the point is getting the attention. So when someone looks at that, then you want to have them go to your do. That would not have been good on LinkedIn, but that's the point, is you want to get attention grabbers. You can use that one on your Facebook and get people to come to warm, fuzzy little meetings. But the attention grabbing is where we want to go. Okay. Any questions? I want to get some feedback from the audience. Since people aren't on LinkedIn that much, are there any hows, like what do I do? Let me see. Well, what I'll talk about is what I do when I get a person, or I'm in a meeting and I make a connection through LinkedIn, is I just send that little note that I talked about and then leave it alone. It's not a sales pitch. It's like, okay, Richard responded. I got one. It's not like fishing where you reel them in. And Gary Vee talks about this. You want to provide value. You want to give them something about something that's it's always that something that can build their life or build the relationship. And it's not about selling. It's not about getting them to a meeting. It might be about talking about or getting to what they want to do. And if someone was an engineer, then you could talk in their language to find out what they want to do. And a lot of times with accountants and engineers in the clubs that I've been in, they come in scared to death to speak. So you can start building some value about how good we've done and what we've done with other people, and not so much selling. So let's see, Serena, any questions in there we can talk about?
Yes, we got 2 questions. The first one was from Alethea Coleman. She wanted to know, what are some good keywords and phrases you use on LinkedIn to draw people to your LinkedIn?
That's a great question. What you want to do is attract the people that you want. That's actually a great question. One of the things that I'm seeing on, let me drop this PowerPoint, that I'm seeing in Toastmasters, and this is my opinion, but I'm seeing it everywhere, is we have a demographics that needs to slant a little bit more towards the younger and more techno user-friendly people. So the point being is what kind of keywords and what kind of things do you want to use? It depends on your market. For example, if you want the, because with Facebook, the demographics are like 50, 60 and above age. If that's the demographic you want, then you want to use the words that would attract them. So you can actually go to Google. This is probably another talk, and look at keywords and look for keywords that are hot and trending in the market right now and find that. So look up in Google how to get your keywords and it'll tell you what's going on. And it might be not specific to what you're talking about, but it's going to be attention grabbers. And that's what you want, is to get their attention. Then you go to where you want to go with it. Does that make sense? That's kind of techno, but yeah, you want to grab their, like the cats, that drew a bunch of people in on Facebook. I'm pointing like it's over here because it is over there. And then you go to what you want to move into, get them to a meeting, or have your link to go to a meeting. What else do we have in there?
We have another question from Curtis Johnson. He wants to know, how do you approach video content?
That is one thing that Gary Vee is a genius about. And it's a little bit tricky because he says, just create content from your passion point, not what you think the market's going to go for, but what your passion is, because your passion is probably related to what you're doing. And in Toastmasters, whatever your Toastmasters group is, for Future Tech Toastmasters, that's going to be different than from the Fuzzy Cat Club. So whatever your passion is, when you create a video, and Gary Vee just says, just create, and don't get hung up on the production. Did anyone, I'm sure everyone did because it went viral. The guy on the skateboard with ocean spray. He just did a video with ocean spray and it went crazy. Was it about ocean spray? It became about ocean spray, but whatever he was doing was so powerful that it grabbed the attention, and then you can redirect it. But in terms of the videos are really powerful. And one other trick that I'm going to start doing in Future Tech is record everything and then grab bites from your videos or from your Zoom meetings, and you can put together pieces that will fit, especially from your own meeting. But if you're having those one-on-one trainings and people are interested and they're coming to a training to learn, that's going to be a hot video that you could do. If someone's like, how do you do videos? And then you do a video on how to do Zoom videos, and then you chop that up into neat little bits in a 1-minute video, and that's going to grab people's attention. It's not going to grab everyone's attention, but it's going to grab the people that you want. And that's key, especially on LinkedIn, because it's a very specific market and you may only get 3 or 4, but who doesn't want 3 or 4 brand new members who are aligned with your profile or aligned with what you guys are about? That's a great question. Any more? I'm not seeing. Oh, there's my
We
chat.
got some more. So one from Jude, and he wants to know, do you have a step-by-step recommendation on how to establish your presence on LinkedIn?
That is a lot easier than people think. And it all has to do with where your heart is and where your interest is, because you're going to go to what interests you. Like the cat, if that grabbed your attention, then that's your attention. So post things, or not post things, go to other people's pages. And if you know somebody, one of the tricks that I use is, if I'm to want to pursue a company, is I go to the web page and I find out who the business owner or some of the leaders are, and get a personality style or personality profile. And you can tell, and you can see, like the lady that I saw on LinkedIn, her picture on LinkedIn is hugging a King's trophy, the big trophy that they have. So that was all I needed, as a picture. But comment on that. So Athena goes to someone on Facebook, or I'm sorry, LinkedIn. I'm so used to Facebook. Goes on LinkedIn, and someone that she knows in her world of whatever that is, and then you go to that person and just engage. you would be surprised. Gary Vee is a mega bazillionaire, and he's like untouchable, but he started communicating with me because I showed my passion aligned with his passion, the key. I got on his LinkedIn page where everyone else, like 6,000 interactions, and then he responded to mine. So the question was, what do I do? Get on and engage in the stuff that you like. If you're not sincere about it, like if I go on and engage about, I love cats, but I don't know, like the oil refinery that we saw, maybe not a passion, and I'm going to go, oh yeah, nice refinery. It's not going to come through. But when you go to an interest or a person and you engage their passion and yours aligns with them, it's just going to happen. It's like, I don't want to say magic, but I will. It's like magic. So great question. What else, Serena?
We got some more here, and please do feel free to put more questions in the chat. As you notice, we're going from, there were two from James. The first one is, for professional purposes, what is or are other platforms to complement LinkedIn for maximum reach effectiveness?
Oh, now we're getting to my fun stuff. And this goes back to Toastmasters too, because people, when people show interest, I used to see people like, oh, literally, oh my God, we got one. And then they pounce. And even in person, 3 people, hey, new guy, new person, da, da, da. When you're on LinkedIn, and this works anywhere, you guys can see what I'm doing. Serena, do you have the link for my Calendly? This is a do item, like how you want to get people to come in and engage your do. Mine is a Calendly. Let me see if I can drop that in there. I think I did. Calendly is what I use in business. I started using it in Toastmasters, and it's absolutely incredible. And what it is you get people to go to that link, like you can click on it and see what it is. It's a calendar device that you click on and you set your schedule up, and then your customer, your member, your friend, whatever you want to do will go onto your calendar and click on a time. When you go into Calendly, you can actually set it up so that they can go to like the Zoom training, they can go to membership, they're interested in membership, whatever I keep using the term thing because that's such a big variable, whatever your individual thing is, and then they sign up and engage your calendar and they sign up, and then you get notified that you have an appointment. So the power of it in Toastmasters was we were doing all this marketing and I had so many people showing up. Actually, I had to stop because it was too much. And we had more guests sometimes than members. That changed real fast because they kept showing up and signing up. But the Calendly allowed you to schedule your time and not be so eager when someone called, oh, got one. It's like they sign up and then they click on a few things and they can sign up what they're interested in. Then you go to LinkedIn, right? You go to LinkedIn and see what they're about before your meeting, and you sign and you click on Calendly and they show up on the Zoom meeting. It can be a phone call too. I always do Zoom because I can actually walk them through the sign up process right on Zoom. You do a split screen and sign them up immediately and they're a member. So we kind of went around the block on that one, but that's one of my favorites. And I'd use it for my work too, because a lot of people, I'm too busy. Great. Here's my Calendly. It's a whole calendar. Pick a time. And like, what? Wait, really? And I especially during COVID too, I don't give them my card. I actually just send them an email and start stacking up customers. So this stuff converts into every part of your life. Did that answer the question? That's one of my favorite tools.
I think you definitely answered that. As a follow-up, James wanted to know, is there some kind of industry metrics telling you whether you are succeeding in targeting your market?
This is an area that I just was, well, you get members or you get customers. That's the best part. But if you want to watch the metrics behind the scenes, all of these things, including LinkedIn, I actually haven't been under the hood on that one, but Facebook, I got to tell a story on my club. I was driving all of our Instagram and Twitter and all of social media, not all, there's too many, but like 5 or 6 social medias into our funnel and having them go to the Facebook page. And that one is really awesome because you can drive your LinkedIn live feed, not LinkedIn, I'm sorry, keep your Facebook and Zoom live feed to your Facebook. That gets a lot of attention. Live, oh, what's going on live? And they usually don't stay, but they come and see your do item, which is sign up for the meeting. And if you sign up for the meeting, you want to have them capture the data, and that's the registration. When you register, you enter in your email. There's your marketing list. That's another trick. But for LinkedIn, looping it back to LinkedIn, if you send them to your Facebook page, and that can be your landing page, and that's where you can have Calendly and the meeting link and all of that information. That is, oh, I'm sorry, I just I got my own attention going somewhere else. Squirrel. The metrics. When you go into if you're the administrator for Facebook and for LinkedIn too, they're kind of all the same. You can get under the hood behind the scenes and look at the data, and it will give you some really good information on the demographics. It'll give you an age range of the people who are coming and visiting that page. So you can see, for example, if you've posted that cat picture, you might see that more, I don't know what it would be, but I'm guessing it might be more women, maybe over 50, and those are the kinds of demographics that are going to pop up. Then it'll talk about their click path too, if they followed your Instagram or if they came over from LinkedIn. And it gives you a lot of information that you can just see in a broad brushstroke, or you can drill down in very specifically. And one of the things that I did with Constant Contact is I could see when people opened the email, and I could then see when they clicked on the link in the email, which would be LinkedIn or Instagram or one of those, then they follow that to the action page. So yes, any of those, LinkedIn, Facebook, all that, you can get behind in the numbers and see what's going on. And that's really good to do because you want to see what's working. And you can get just looking at the data, you're going to see spikes like we did with the survey that we did. Great questions. Oh, 10-minute warning. Okay.
All right, we got 2 more questions. And for LinkedIn, just to add on to that, you can, as Bill was talking about, you can see a lot of different things, including on your own profile. Knowing who's looking at you, if you're paying for premium, could help you if you're trying to hit certain people. If you want to know if they looked at it. Alethea Coleman asks, can your Toastmaster Club have a LinkedIn page?
Absolutely. I've seen people do that. I think Daybreak, which used to be my home club, has a LinkedIn page. I think you could just look up Toastmasters on LinkedIn. I don't see a lot of activity, and I don't see any excitement, like what's in it. They usually are posted, it's like a sales pitch, and you want to provide value, not a sales pitch. And when you provide value, it is going to get them to do because the value is going to be what they want to get out of what's in it for me. And yes, you can put LinkedIn, and you want to do it with some style, because you'll see when you look at some of the Toastmasters LinkedIn pages, they need some work, but don't we all? Great question.
Next question is from Lane Chavez, and they want to know, in Gary Vee's teachings, he says to quote jab, which is build a rapport, and then quote right hook, which means to pitch. How long do I jab before I right hook?
That's one of his older books. I love that. I think he takes some jabs for that too, because one of the things, and even Gary Vee says that everything is evolving all the time. Here we are 1 year later, and we're barely using the chat box in Zoom. but to give the jab, I think if you provide value and you're out there in the areas, swimming in the areas where other like-minded people, whether it's like you or whether it's like the people that you want to draw into the club, then it just happens. That's what Gary Vee talks about too. When you provide so much value, or you're posting things about all the
did you want to say
fun
that?
that you're having.
That
I got that
You
one.
could mute yourself. Sorry. Go ahead, Bill.
Then showing the fun and excitement, or the
okay.
whoop, there we go again. There it is. So just providing value, and then you put the link in there, like the Calendly link, and or your do, whatever your do link is, your action link. So that's your jab and your punch.
All right, we got one more. Curtis Johnson asks, if you're recruiting for a new club, how would you approach going through a new member to invite their connections?
On LinkedIn, that's easy. You go visit their page and you're going to see, well, one, you're going to see connections that you already have that are available that may not be a member. Contact them. Hey, Sue, I didn't know you knew Paul, and you know, we're starting this new club and he's interested. Kind of go down that road, but I'm kind of being too salesy. I don't do the salesy. And I think I learned from Gary Vee is I hate it because I'm a full sentence kind of guy. It's like, don't get too fancy with the periods and the punctuation. And I'm like, what? But I did a test. Some people I would contact and just say, hey, what's up? Maybe, or something like that, and something very basic. And that in a lot of cases was more effective than, dear person, da 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 da, and we are, and drop your fears and come and learn how to not say ums and ahs. It just depends on your persona, I guess. Some people, they would never do short sentences or not do a very professional, but it depends on what you want. For Future Tech Toastmasters, we want the like millennials and the people that are digitally swimming in this new pivot that we're in. So we're going to be speaking their language, so to speak. Okay, what else do we have?
We have a few more minutes to wrap up, and then we will be staying as with the others a few minutes after the event, but we do want to end on time because we're Toastmasters.
Yes. Okay, let's do a wrap screen. Here's kind of a wrap bullet points. Most importantly, know your target. You don't have to go after the current membership that we have. I know in Valencia Toastmasters, we have a demographic that is aging out and we're really dropping in numbers. So I'd say my target, well, for Future Tech would be the millennials. Just know who your target is and then become aware of the waters that they swim in, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Instagram. It's probably not going to be Facebook, but so know your target and where they live and breathe. What do you want them to do? That's a great question. Do you want them to come to your Calendly and have a one-on-one talk, or you want them to come straight to a meeting? If you do a two-step, my personal experience, the success rate goes up 1,000,000%, way up, especially if you use LinkedIn and learn a little bit about them. You can also do search them on Facebook and other places, but LinkedIn is the best. Context, context, context. Basically swimming in the waters where they exist, or where you want to get your target market from. Hope that makes sense. And make it super easy for them to do the do. How many of you have had people say, what's the link to the meeting? Oh my God, what the? And you're getting all these texts and emails and all these kinds of things. Make it so easy that there's no mistake. And this one worked. What we had over 50 people. Reach out to people directly. Do that on LinkedIn. It's more professional. Facebook is kind of Skittles and rainbows and kittens and puppies, but do it on LinkedIn. And then also you're going to look at their other people behind them, second and third degree, and you might grab a few more or ask that person. If you ask everybody in your club to reach out on LinkedIn to at least one person, you're probably going to get 2. But that's a big ask, because the statistics said on our survey that people rarely use LinkedIn. Change that. And then the bonus for the night was use videos, and that's a little more advanced. But in your Toastmasters we're recording tonight, go in and get the video and then chop it up and take sections, usually when other people are talking, so you can do 2 or 3 different people talking, and it's powerful. And the way that people do things now, you take these weird clips and put them together and they work. They don't have to be, you don't have to be an editing genius, just chop it together, and that draws attention. Okay, that's it for my conclusion. I would like to say that I do have my Calendly, and I put in there, I can drop it again. And I do trainings on the Calendly for Zoom and other things too. But I love teaching fellow Toastmasters how it works to get more members. And it's so easy. A lot of this stuff is actually auto magic, because you set it up and it just drives down into your funnel, shows up on your calendar. You show up, they're there. And not only are you there, you're recording, make sure to hit record, and you're capturing assets to use in your marketing, and the whole thing snowballs. So you have to be like me in Valencia, you have to shut it off. We have too many members. So that's it.
Thank you very much, Bill, for your wonderful presentation. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you very much for sharing with us this information. I know there were still a few people that had questions. Like I said, feel free to stick around. We'll be here for a few minutes after 6. I do want to recognize that we have an incredibly important person in the room. We're all very important people, but all groups need a leader, and our district leader is in the house tonight. Please give one moment of your time to our leader, Judy McNeil.
Hey everybody, welcome to another amazing social media event put on by our PR team. They are rock stars. Thank you for being here tonight. Please connect with District 100 on social media. We are building a community of people that care and want to share, and we want you to be a part of that. I hope you enjoyed tonight's event and look for more amazing events. If you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, you would know. Thank you. Back to you, Serena.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And we are on social media. If you're not connected with us, you might be missing out. Your friends, your fellow Toastmasters might be missing out on the next amazing events that we have. It's been dropped in the chat a few times, so you probably have seen it by now, but we do have this one time ever, kind of a continuation of sorts of these sessions. You will of course get the email with the recording for all 3 sessions on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, as long as you have registered and you showed up. We'll get them for all 3. We'll send that out next week. It will also have another copy of the workbook in case you missed it. And we do have a survey for you as well. But the special events that William, the real William, mentioned at the beginning, we have a Facebook essentially session that's a one-on-one. It's 101. It's the very, very basics. It's not going to be filled with all of the, very extremely important, like high up here information. It's going to be like very basic steps. If you or someone you know wants to set up a Facebook page, doesn't have one, has no idea how to use it, this is for those people, because we recognize a lot of people don't even know how to get set up. And then after that, following that, in case you're like, I don't need that, but I do have some questions, we have a one-time only open forum. We extended it for everybody. It's not just a one-on-one. It's open to anybody that wants to for questions on Facebook. And anybody can come to that. And that's later in the day, 12 to 1. So we do have those 2 sessions back to back coming up next week. I do want to thank you again very much for coming. And before it becomes 7, I'd love to take a quick screenshot of everybody. I'm going to view gallery here. If you want to hop, oh, you're all here. Look at that. You know the drill by now. Okay, great. So I think Paul, I can't see you. Sonia, Rose, Mariano, Virginia, a few more. Mary, Michelle, if you want to hop on, would love to see your faces. I'm going to start with the first slide. Give me your biggest smile. I'm going to take a picture, and I will be attempting to tag as many people as possible as a follow-up with this. So if you get an invitation from me, just know that I am me. It's not a spam bot. It's really me. All right, smile. 3, 2, 1. All right, that worked. Second page. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, that should have worked. Thank you very much. To take the survey if you do have a minute. It is 1 minute. We love your feedback because we want to do more of these events, but if you don't give us your insight as to what we could have done better, what we did well, who knows? It could go totally haywire the next go around. You never know. But we'd love your feedback so that we can improve, because we're a Toastmasters. That's what we're here for. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend and evening. And again, if you do have questions, feel free to stick around for the next few minutes. Thank you very much, everyone.